We got a lot to talk about. Number one is Jalen Hurts QB1 in 2023. Is he QB1 go forward? If you're in a dynasty league, do you trade for Jalen Hurts if you have an opportunity to step into a Jalen Hurts using any other quarterback in the NFL? Is he QB1 in fantasy football go forward? We'll talk about that and more. We're talking about the Jaguars-Chiefs game where Patrick Mahomes was unbelievable playing on an injured leg. Talk about the Eagles-Giants game and how the Eagles absolutely owned the Giants and how Jalen Hurts just proved why we're having the conversation we're having. And the Niners better be worried. They've got to beat the Cowboys tomorrow, but they should be spending today or tonight, the rest of tonight and every single minute after preparing for the Eagles, not the Cowboys. I think the Niners are going to roll the Cowboys. That's my personal opinion. I think what we saw happen to the Giants and the Eagles rolling them, what we saw happen to the Jaguars, even though they didn't roll, even though the Chiefs didn't like stomp all over them, Mahomes got hurt, and so I think that's why it was a closer game than it should have been. This is divisional round. This is a big spotlight. This isn't the wild card weekend where anything can happen. Anybody can get knocked off. This is where the big dogs have been sitting on a bye. The Eagles, the Chiefs. Tomorrow we got more football. Let's get into it. The first in the building was Ben, followed by Frake and D-Class. Blind Larry in the house. Appreciate you all. File on in. The Fantasy Football Show begins now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
What is going on, good people? Your boy Smitty is here to break down everything that occurred today on Saturday during the first set of two games, the first two games of the divisional round NFL playoffs. And no surprises really, other than Patrick Mahomes getting banged up. And then, now we have to worry about what's that look like walking into the next week. But I'll break that down in a second. We had Jalen Hurts absolutely looking like a total monster. Like, what a beast Jalen Hurts is. What a machine. What a phenomenal, diverse quarterback, running quarterback, passing quarterback. Just an absolute machine. And we have to have the conversation, and we're going to do it pretty much right now. We're going to talk about what is his value going forward in 2023. Is he arguably QB1 walking into 2023? I'd love to know what all your thoughts are. Is he your QB1? Do you have him as QB2, QB3? Drop it in the chat, and I'll throw it up on screen. Let me see if I can. Let me drop everybody's reactions on screen here. Travis says, real pathetic showing by the Giants. Eagles dominated. Let's see here. Hurts QB3, says James. That's tough, bro. I don't know. OJ says, was moving all day and had to listen to the game through an AirPod. Hurts is QB2-3, says Frake. Yeah. Let's talk real quickly about Mahomes, and then we'll get into Jalen Hurts. If off the top, I'll say this. I'll say Jalen Hurts is in the conversation for 1 to 4. The problem is every one of the top 4 quarterbacks is in the conversation. You know what I mean? Like, you could make an argument, and you are not crazy. If anybody calls you crazy for saying Jalen Hurts is QB1, or Mahomes is QB1, or Josh Allen's QB1, or even Joseph cigar-smoking Burrow, who gets to play tomorrow and kind of prove himself and kind of solidify his ranking with all of you and me and everybody else watching. If anybody says anybody's crazy for naming any one of Mahomes, Burrow, Jalen Hurts, and Josh Allen as their number 1 quarterback in fantasy football 2023 or Dynasty, that's a crazy stance, because every single one of them can be argued as QB1. I wouldn't even blame somebody for saying that Fields was their QB1. Okay, Fields to me is in the tier below. And he's kind of in a tier by himself until Miami Mike McDaniel in Miami signs his quarterback. If it's Lamar jumps into tier 2 with Justin Fields. If it's Aaron Rodgers jumps into tier number 2 with Justin Fields. Tom Brady would jump into that if he signed with Miami Mike. Whoever the Miami Mike quarterback is, as shown here on the Moon Man list.
The Moon Man, dropping loads in outer space.
The Moon Man list.
Space Moon says.
The most recent addition for anybody that's been living under a rock was the Mystery Man QB. Whoever's signal calling for the Miami Dolphins in 2023 is Moon Man number, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, number 7. Number 7 Moon Man is the Dolphins quarterback. And you might say to yourself, well, how does that help me if once we know everybody's going to be alerted to it? It's a good question. But this is an inverse Moon Man in a sense. You're getting the jump on the fact that I believe that Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are undervalued right now because people are wondering who the quarterback is. Who's throwing the football to these two wide receivers in 2023? Therefore, you get a little bit of a discount on Tyreek Hill in a trade right now. You get a little bit of a discount on a Jalen Waddle in a trade right now. So take full advantage of the fact that the headless horseman here at the quarterback position, the unknown of who's signal calling is going to afford you a buy low opportunity on Waddle and Hill. Maybe it's not the biggest buy low opportunity in the world, but this inverse Moon Man prediction.
The Moon Man, dropping loads in outer space.
It puts
Space Moon says.
It puts us all in a position of getting a Moon Man, getting the players related to the Moon Man and Tyreek Hill and Waddle at a discount. It's an open Moon Man suit. Someone just got to step into it, says Travis. Trey Lance is to the Jets. Trey Lance could go to the Miami Dolphins because Mike McDaniel loves trading for Niner players. So it could be Trey Lance that's the Moon Man. Frake says QB 2-3 for Hurts. I don't blame you for having him 1. I don't blame you for having him 3. Now let's talk real quickly about Patrick Mahomes, who was injured in this game. Patty Mahomes, where is my Patty Mahomes graphic? Oh, Patty. Where is he? Oh, Patty. Where is my Patrick Mahomes graphic when you need it? I have one somewhere. Bear with me real quick. Is this it? Here we go. Patrick Mahomes was injured. Ankle. And the question is going to be, will he be ready for the next round of the playoffs? Will he be hampered by said ankle injury? Is it a total severe high ankle sprain? And I went on Instagram with my boy Raj, and I told him it's not a severe high ankle sprain. Cody says Burrow's QB1. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that, Cody. It's not a severe high ankle sprain, or at least it wasn't. He may have played on it and turned it into a severe high ankle sprain. I want to put that out there right now. He played on a mild high ankle sprain, not a severe high ankle sprain, a mild high ankle sprain, because he wouldn't have been able to go out there and do what he did. He is Superman. You know, he can do a little more than the average bear, but he still wouldn't have been near as mobile at all if it was a severe high ankle sprain. A lot of people throw around this terminology, and they start saying things like, Smitty, a high ankle sprain, which is the kind of the upper part of the ankle and like the shin area. A lot of people think when you get a high ankle sprain, it is exactly this. It is 3 to 6 weeks you're out. It would be if it's a severe high ankle sprain. He would be out 3 to 6 weeks. he wouldn't have been able to go back onto the field. The fact that he could go in, and at first it looked like a high ankle sprain, a severe one, because he couldn't do anything. But then he started jumping on the sideline, started moving around. He went into the game, started to look better every play, and then he was hobbled. He was hobbled, but he was moving around. He actually scrambled a little bit. It was very, very slow moving, but he was scrambling. And then he exited the game, sat down. Looks like they were going to tape things up, and then he runs to the locker room or walks to the locker room, hobbles to the locker room, and apparently going to get X-rays. Right? He comes back very, very shortly after. Not enough time to look at X-rays, to get the results of the X-rays or figure anything out. Goes to the sideline, stands there, kind of moves around, looks like, okay, he's ready to go back in. He's only waiting on the call. Yep, we got the X-rays. We've looked at them. I know you wanted to get back on the field with your team and see what's going on because he's a field general. He wants to know what his team's doing. He's waiting for the call. They ring it up, or he runs into the locker room and they say, yeah, nothing broken. Pain tolerance, severely painful. You're probably not going to be able to walk the next day if you go play on this, but we don't think you're going to make things extremely worse if you go out and play on this. I said he'd come running back in. He came running back in and he played. Now, playing on the ankle, mild high ankle sprain could turn it to a severe high ankle sprain. We'll have to see. Adrenaline won't be pumping. They probably injected it with something. He will have more swelling, but he will be hampered a little bit. He'll have to be. He'll be hampered. He won't be as mobile. He won't be as on his game. He's a magician out there, but he made a lot of mistakes with a lot of good plays. My point being is whoever faces off, and let's get this bracket up now. So this was we're gonna put it into this is no longer a projection bracket. We're gonna make this the actual, result. So Philly advances. Philly is gonna move on. We'll go ahead and remove the Niners. We'll go ahead and remove the Eagles. And let's make this a realistic depiction of what we're seeing right now. So, whoops, I didn't mean to remove KC. So this is as it stands right now. KC will face off against the winner of this Buffalo game tomorrow. So as it stands, this is how it looks right now. I did get Dallas wrong. I did get the Giants wrong. That's why it's got a red box around it. But here's what we're looking at. Philly advances, and they're waiting for the San Francisco-Dallas winner. KC advances. They're waiting for the Buffalo-Cincinnati Bengal winner. I believe that KC's vulnerable. I believe whoever wins this game right here will end up and ultimately face the Kansas City Chiefs and beat them. So we're going to put this like that. Let's put it like that. Put KC there. Philly is awaiting. I can't seem to move these things. My whole screen's jacked up. Okay, let's go. We'll go with Philly. And we'll copy that line and we'll put that right here. There we go. There's the bracket. I have the Bengals winning, but we're going to take that off. This is what the bracket looks like right now. KC is vulnerable. I believe KC loses to this winner right here, which I believe will be the Cincinnati Bengals. So the Bengals. Why do I have Buffalo highlighted here? So San Francisco needs to be unhighlighted. And Buffalo needs to be unhighlighted. There we go. What are your predictions? I'd love to hear in the chat what you guys think. Okay, now I got that squared away. Jacksonville. I got to make this. Hold on a second. This is making me frustrated. So Philly won. San Francisco hasn't won yet, but I believe they will. Jacksonville did not win. Why are they green? Why is Jacksonville green? I think because I had them winning the last round. Okay, there we go. That's how it is currently at the moment. KC won so I can make them green. There we go. So we're awaiting the victor here and the victor here. I'll watch them all season. Bengals is what I think the Super Bowl is going to be, says Antonio. ETN was a solid pick this year. He certainly was. ETN was absolute straight fire, bro. ETN, a.k.a. ETN, was the take, says Travis. I don't know what we're talking about there. Niners win it all, says Scott. Welcome, Niner fan. Appreciate you being here, pal. And they could. Bengals versus the Eagles, says Boat. I think that's what it's going to be. I think ultimately it's going to be the Bengals versus the Eagles or Buffalo versus the Eagles. I don't think it'll be KC now because Mahomes is hampered. Mahomes is vulnerable not to the Jaguars, but he's vulnerable to Josh Allen or Joe Burrow. You know what I'm saying, broski? So Mahomes probably going to be hampered in this next contest. We'll have more news tomorrow on Mahomes. As for Jalen Hurts, is he QB1? Is he QB2? Is he QB3? Is he QB4? I started off the show by telling you that all four are phenomenal. Tony Romo was a solid pick this year. Take a lap. I don't know what you're talking about. Bengals missing 3 O linemen. Gonna be tough. Bengals O line is still better than it was last year, though. So ultimately, Joe Burrow is very experienced in such a situation. You know, he did it all last year. However, it is a problem. He's used to it. I get it. Got to take into account injury risk with Hurts, though. Yeah, same thing with Josh Allen, though. Josh Allen and Hurts have the same injury risk, though. You know, so if we're talking dynasty, I do have Mahomes ranked higher because of the longevity. I think Hurts won't have a short career by any means, but Hurts will most likely not exceed what Burrow's, time frame is going to be. So give me Mahomes and Burrow lasting longer as, more drop back passers. Not that Hurts isn't a drop back passer, but he just runs a ton. So we'll see. But most certainly in Dynasty. But in Redraft 2023, I'm not going to factor it in too much. Need Chase to light it up. I need Chase to light it up tomorrow. I need all Bengal players to light it up tomorrow. 100%. Blind Larry's rooting for a Bengal victory. Appreciate you, Blind Larry. ATV says K9 was a moon man, ? Yeah, okay. What did he do? 2 weeks, over 20 points. What are you talking about, ATV? What are you talking about? He was one of the most successful moon man predictions we had. We have people drafting him in round 8, 9, 10. Round 8, 9, 10, sometimes later. And he stepped up and dropped monster production per start. Like, he was one of the best Moonman predictions we could have dreamed up. It was 100% success for the channel, ATV. It was a phenomenal Moonman selection. I'm very proud of. I'll hang my hat on that. I hang my hat on that prediction, bro. I put my reputation on the line. I'll tell someone that's a selling point to watching my channel. Someone says, hey, why should I watch your channel? Kenneth Walker, 9th, 10th, 11th round pick, saved you and won you a league. He was a moon man, ATV. He was a moon man. I mean, what more do you want? Yeah, Kenneth Skywalker. This one?
Kenneth Skywalker. Kenneth Lightsaber Swinging Skywalker.
Let's, in fact, on that note, let's have everybody in the YouTube exclusive membership group drop some Kenneth Skywalker emojis on that note. Can we get a bunch of those? Let me start. Let me kick it off. I mean, really, bro. I mean, really. Where is it at? Where's my Kenneth Walker? There we go. Here, this will be good. There we go. I'll kick it off. I mean, God, ATV coming in strong with some weird commentary tonight. I don't know, we didn't hit some of the picks or something. Like what happened there, buddy boy? Guy in my dynasty league, he has Hurts and Mahomes won't make a trade, and the rest of his roster is weak, and he never makes the playoffs. Signal, I don't know what to tell you on that. Those people are hard to deal with. However, on my The Fantasy Football Show.com, broski, get on over there if you haven't already. I'm going to be dropping video courses like mad through all of February and loading up a library on how to trade, negotiations, all that stuff, bro. And so you're gonna have a ton of content on how to trade with people like that. ATV says, I remember K9 being good like once a season, bro. Then you're telling me you watched 1 week of football essentially. And you need to watch more football. You'd enjoy it. It's a very, very fun hobby, bro. You like watching more than one week of football. I'm telling you. And on top of that, bro, you're not gonna want to see the next video I drop tomorrow. Let's just say that. ATV, I might not. I hate to say this because you never want to send somebody away, and I'm not trying to send you away, ATV. But I just want you to know this might not be the channel for you. Because I'm about to drop a Kenneth Walker. I'm about to drop Kenneth Walker on my top 10 running back part 2. There's three parts to the series, part 1, 2, and 3. He's in part 2. Part 1 was 2 players. He's going to be in part 2, and I just don't think you're going to like it. I don't think you're going to.
Kenneth Skywalker. Kenneth Lightsaber Swinging Skywalker.
I just don't think you're going to have a good time. Tough night being a Giants fan. I'm sorry, Ricky, Bobby. If you're not first, you're last. You know that. The Giants weren't first, so they are last today. But, you did better than anybody thought you were going to do, bro. You guys had a phenomenal year. Dalvin Cook top 5 pick next year? No. Absolutely not. He's going to be on the must-avoid list for me. Django. Absolute disaster of a pick for me. Imagine drafting Pollard and K9 and losing the championship because the blow like ETN. Are you turning it? Maybe you've been a hater the whole time, ATV. I don't know. I don't even know how. Is ATV new? I mean, you're coming in strong like a hater, bro. Like, why are you here? If you hate the channel. If you hate the channel and you hate the picks and you hate the Moon Man and you hate, like, why even be here? Why would you waste your time on a channel you hate? Go be productive and do something great. Go do something productive and successful than hang around a place you don't believe in. You know what I mean? I'm saying that from the bottom of my heart, bro, so that you can have something, to look forward to. Because coming here, you're gonna get down and depressed if you're down on K9 and ETN and Breece Hall and you know what I mean? Like I'm looking out for you, bro. I'm not trying to send you away, but I want you to be happy. I don't want you to stay. I'm not forcing you to stay in this relationship. You know what I'm saying, bro? I mean, yeah, watch the world burn. Apparently, that's what ATV wants. I don't know. I don't get it. Why would you be here? Why would you be here? Especially, here, let me play this Moon Man list. Tell me what you think of this list.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
They're literally on fire. You can see Charbonnet burning right now. He's so smoking hot.
Space Monsters.
Got a tremendous season on the way, bro. I mean, Ty Chandler, a Moon Man. Not yet. Not yet, bro. That's funny, man. Some people, it seems like something about today with like teams losing and getting people in bad moods. There's been the haters are out tonight. The haters are out tonight, broskies. They are out tonight. Yeah, he saw that list. He's like, boom, man. Have you seen the Mars Man list, bro? It just started getting going.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars Men. Loads dropping and spinning aimlessly in space.
The Mars Man, it's got the commander. We've got one seat of the 5. We might open it up to a 6-man shuttle. I don't know. But there's 5 seats. One of them is taking the captain, Bijan. The captain. Akers going to have a bounce back year. He could because he's finally a full year removed. So it's like it's possible. It wasn't possible walking into 2022, and I told everyone that, and I told everybody that about James Robinson too. And remember after week 2, how many people were coming for my neck? You're wrong about James Robinson, Smitty. Like, how could you like ETN? ETN's garbage. James Robinson, he was injured, just dragging his leg to the end zone, and people are like, he looks so good. Brady in the Pluto men list. Not if he lands in the right spot, bro. Let's go ahead. We don't need this. I don't know why I started doing something over here with these guys. We don't need multiple. It's confusing just looking at multiple. So we'll go Miami. Most likely landing spots are for these guys in this order. We'll go Raiders are the second most likely landing spot for, or the most likely landing spot for Aaron Rodgers. The New York Football Jets. There you go. That looks better. It's less confusing. Miami, number 1 landing spot, period, for a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? I won 2 Big Macs, gave my opponent 14 points for New York Giants. Now I'm curious about this guy. Maybe he's been here the whole time and just talked for the first time tonight. I don't know, but he certainly doesn't like my content. Got to make Zay Jones a Moon Man. I don't know. I like him, but Blind Larry says, take a lap. Brady to Raider Nation. I mean, it's one of these locations. So Miami and Las Vegas are the 2 top landing spots, and I believe they will get, Miami will get one of these 3 quarterbacks, and the Raiders will get one of these 3 quarterbacks. The New York Football Jets may or may not get the 3rd one. It may be that they miss out. Maybe Brady signs with Miami and Lamar doesn't get traded, and then A-Rod goes to the Raiders, and then there's no one left, and the Jets have to go with a Derek Carr or, give Zach Wilson a ring and be like, hey, let's try one more time. Okay, Zach, if you're not too busy, talking to the moms, can you come down? We got a meeting, and you might be a starter again. And that would be horrible, but it's the one landing spot of the 3 best landing spots I feel is most susceptible to not getting one of the 3 big quarterbacks. I'm confused about the whole thing, honestly. I drafted Pollard, K9, and Breece Hall, and I could have been better off with Patterson alone. I don't know what to tell you on that one, bro. I can't even respond to that. Actually, I can. There. Bro, the three guys you just listed. Let's get that back on screen. What was that? The three guys you just listed. Here, let True Penguin. Let's let True Penguin. While I drink my drink, I'll let True Penguin spell it out for you, bro. Okay, here you go.
True Penguin 665 Pollard and K9 were like 10th round picks too. And look what you got, lol.
Lol, bro. Come on, bro. Come on. Like, what are you looking for a reaction? ATV? I don't understand what you're like. You just look like, is this like you having fun? Like, what is it? I just want to understand you. You drafted Pollard, K9, and Breece Hall. Well, congratulations. You stole them away. They cost you nothing, and they exploded for you at cost of entry. And you're better off drafting a guy that was injured all year that didn't ever really do anything at all? What are you talking about, ATV? I mean, I don't get it. Who's K9? This is K9, bro.
Kenneth Skywalker. Kenneth Lightsaber Swinging Skywalker.
Boom, broski. Now you're in the know. You can use K9. You are completely K9 approved. I can use the K9 certificate, so you can drop it left and right now. I first thought he was legit angry. Now I believe he's a troll. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, look, trolls need exposure too. And he's creating content, so it's fine. You know what I mean? Like, I'm having a good time. I don't know. Doesn't bother me. People always say, why you waste your time? Don't let them get to you. No one's getting to me, bro. No one's getting to me. I don't care. I'm responding. That's it. Do you think Daniel Jones is gone in New York? And if so, do you see Brady or A-Rod going there? It's a possible landing spot. Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility, but I don't know what's going to go on with Daniel Jones. If Daniel Jones goes elsewhere, I don't know that he'll be as successful. Dable is kind of he's kind of getting the most out of him, and I feel kind of like how Tua was really, really good in a Miami Mike offense in Miami. That's not going to translate elsewhere. Tyler Algier silently putting up 1K yards as a backup. I'm going to be drafting this man any chance I get, says I was going to say Ayuk, but I'm going to call you Brandon Ayuk, bro, because I don't know what else is going on. K9, 2,000 yards in 2023.
You've just been Smitty approved.
That's right, bro. Smitty approved that comment. ATV. 2,000 yards, broski. You here for it? I like Algier at value next year. Yeah, man. Will Smitty grow his hair out for us? No, bro. I keep it clean. For the Giants, it was a good result. Now they can lowball Daniel Jones. True, but he could find a job. He could find a team willing to pay. But I believe he knows Dable saved his career, and he probably, like Geno, in a way, wants to give that hometown discount and stay with the guy that didn't give up on him and that turned him and enabled him into a very solid prospect. But if he goes out and tries to play somewhere else and gets his head underwater, it's going to end disastrously for him. I don't think Danny Dimes is ready to do what he did in New York somewhere else. He's not ready to. He's not developed enough. Watch Derek Carr go to the Giants. I mean, he could. And Dable would do good with him. Derek Carr would be revived to a degree because Dable's that good. Isaiah Hodgins is in my family. What do I think of him next year? I think he's got like Moon Man potential, Scott. And if he's in your family, get him on the show, bro. You get him on the show, we'll put him on the Moon Man list. How's that? I think he's got a lot of upside. A lot of upside. Joe Fro says, hi, he's a Cowboys fan, diehard. Jets going to sign him. Miami QB going to be Neil Armstrong. Yeah, let's hit that one more time.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
Space Monsters.
Space Monsters, indeed, yes sirree. Carter Houston. All right, let's hit the phone lines.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial in to thy show, if you know. I am so tired. I got to go run tonight. I got to work out tonight. I got to create content tonight. I got to do my top 10 part 2. I got to finish my top 10 running backs part 2 video, which may or may not have 3 or 4 or 5 running backs in it. And then part 3 will have the rest. What happened to McKinnon today? Very big reason why we're worried about him for next year and why I'm not huge on him and why I've been talking cautiously about him and trying to caution you all from expecting the same thing from a guy that's been in the league forever, from a guy that's 31 years old. He's 31, I believe. How old is he? I think he's 31. Let's look it up real quick. McKinnon. How old are you, McKinnon? 30 years old, be 31 in May. So in dog years, that's done. He's an RB, but he catches footballs. But he's still an RB. And they used him as an RB tonight. So there's no, like, he's a wide receiver for sure. The usage tonight suggests they want to run him. He's 31 years old. That 31-year-old no-go zone, the 27 to 31-year-old no-go zone, it applies. And I don't think it's smart fantasy football business to be going after McKinnon in 2023 unless this game and next week's game knocks him way down the ADP ranks, and then now we've got a guy we can go get. You know what I'm saying? So I'm okay. I'm really okay with going and getting McKinnon if he's dirt cheap, if he's like last year's Kenneth Walker value. But at third, fourth round value, which is where he could go if he, let's say, has a big game next week against the Bills or the Bengals, then McKinnon's value goes back up. If McKinnon is dog water in this next, playoff game against whoever wins the Buffalo Bill Cincinnati Bengal game, if he goes out and drops a nothing burger, then he could be a 5th, 6th, 7th rounder. Like that's how fickle the fantasy football viewpoint is as a whole, and rightly so in some cases. But Jacobs a moon man, no. No, trade McCaffrey instantly. Bad take, man. Who said trade McCaffrey instantly? ATV, start being more positive. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. Okay, I'm gonna give you a little warning shot. Just be a positive vibe here, bro. Okay, that's because it doesn't. You don't last long here if you're gonna come in and be negative. I love IDP. I don't love IDP. Josh says he loves IDP. I was reading his comment. I'm not huge on IDP. It's not that I don't play it, understand it, know it. it's not as popular. So if I produce IDP content, it reaches less people. And I don't do IDP on the channel because the majority of my following would not watch the video and it wouldn't do well. Therefore, it's a diver. The video would dive, so there's no sense in me doing IDP. And I don't enjoy it as much. I don't. Pacheco, definitely a Mars man. Pacheco? Or you saying Pacheco? When McCaffrey was traded to the Niners, you said trade him instantly. I said trade him at his all-time high. And he would have got you an even Steven amount of value back. So it wouldn't have been a bad trade, bro. But there's a lot of injury concern there. In Dynasty, if I owned him, I'd be I would strongly consider selling him now versus even waiting, because I could try my best to go get a 1.1. I'd give up a future pick. I'd give up all kinds of things depending on what they were to try and move my McCaffrey into a Bijan, move my McCaffrey into a JJ, move my McCaffrey into a Jamar Chase. And when I tell you to trade someone on the high, bro, you're right even when you're wrong, ATV. You're right even when you're wrong. Let that sink in. Okay, if you're trading McCaffrey at his all-time high and you get back a player that blows up too, you're both going to make out on the deal. And if you're wrong in assessing whether he's going to falter, and keep in mind, there were a lot of people that had him and he didn't do well the first game and a half, right? It was like, I want to say, what did he do the second game? The first game, there were a lot of people, I believe it was 2 games in a row, that he wasn't used properly and he was still getting to know the system, and a lot of people lost because of it. So it wasn't a bad move to trade him at an all-time high if you got a player that significantly helped you. And there's so much context that goes into that, bro. Are you in a position where you've already made the playoffs? Then hang on to CMC because he'll probably get in a groove at the end. If you needed to win a game, ATV, and you couldn't lose another game and you had CMC, you lost. It's context, bro. You're painting this picture and you don't even have the context right. You don't even have, you're just speaking about it blanketly with a blanket statement. If you literally traded away CMC and you didn't have the bye week and then the bad game, I think that's what it was. It was a bye week because he got traded and he couldn't play. Then he did bad that first week back. 2 weeks you got screwed and you didn't win a game because you didn't trade McCaffrey on the high. 2 weeks. That is a big deal. Some people weren't able to use McCaffrey at all, no matter how good he was, because they lost 2 games because of McCaffrey getting traded. It's context, bro. McCaffrey lost people leagues in those situations. People that already made the playoffs that had McCaffrey, they could afford to wait on him. It didn't matter, and they won their leagues because of McCaffrey. It's all context, bro. It's all context. You can't speak to one angle and leave out the details. You know? It's just hilarious, man. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
What's this? I love KW. Don't get me wrong, but trading CMC straight up for him, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, I mean, bro, you had to make the right trade. Trading him for anybody, you had to get something. You could have got more than Kenneth Walker. You could have got Kenneth Walker and some. You could have got a whole boatload of stuff. I can't help what people traded him for. But if you couldn't lose another game and you had Christian McCaffrey, you lost. Because you potentially lost 2 games because he didn't do anything for 2 games. He sat out because of the trade and had an additional bye week and didn't do anything that next game. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Who am I talking to?
Reed and Josh.
Yellow.
Hello.
You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Who's this?
Josh.
What's up, Josh? What can I do for you?
How are you, man?
I'm good, bro.
Hey, yeah, so I got Skywalker as my number one running back next year. I'll throw that out there.
Boy. Let people hate and doubt him. I mean, dude's got so much upside. He could be a 1,800 to 2,000 total yard back. You just want to hope that the offense improves. They make good offseason moves. They maybe aggressively go after another quarterback. Even though Geno did very well, they could keep Geno, sign him, and then still make an aggressive move. But like you get and I don't know that Lamar would have interest in Seattle. I don't think Brady would have interest in Seattle. Those are all probably pipe dreams. Although DK and Lockett and Kenneth Walker should be an attractive place. Pete Carroll should be an attractive player. Seattle's not the most attractive team in market or not the market, but the team in general. It's just not a very marketable team to a guy like Tom Brady. But you never know. You never know. But you just want to hope that this team improves so he gets some wiggle room.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, where's D-Hop going to go next year?
I think Chicago. But, I mean, that's just a guess. I mean, we don't know. I just think it's an ideal landing spot for him. It's an ideal landing spot for Chicago. They've got a mobile quarterback that needs a wide receiver like Hopkins, who has been trained like no other wide receiver in the National Football League to catch footballs from a mobile, scrambling quarterback. Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray. This guy is arguably still one of the most difficult receivers to cover one-on-one in the NFL, even though he's about to drop off. I admit it. He's about to drop off. But he has still probably got one more year, I'd say, of being one of the most difficult one-on-one wide receivers. And what happens if you double team him? Defensive attention gets pulled over to Hopkins. You got a better running game. You got Fields you got to worry about spying on. So you can't really similar to Kyler when Kyler was scrambling and mobile and effective and. Not this year, but the year prior for the first half of the year when the Cardinals were the only undefeated team in the NFL and they were having a great start to the year. Kyler was mobile. It was just a phenomenal situation, and so Hopkins in Chicago makes a whole lot of sense, and they would be very smart to use their early draft capital on other positions and fill that spot with Hopkins. That would be a great move. And Hopkins isn't going to cost a whole lot, which is crazy to me. But that's the way that trading works, especially with older players.
Totally agree. Well, heck yeah, Smitty, you're the man, dude.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. Hey, what would you say? Where would you rank Fields if you had Hopkins?
Oh, definitely in the top 5.
Yeah,
definitely in the top 5, 4 or 5.
Yeah, he'd get locked in, bro. He'd get locked in. He'd be locked into the top 5 or 6, like guaranteed. He's already there anyway because of the scrambling, but you give him Hopkins. I mean, geez.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Especially if they draft one of those moon men running backs that you have, too.
Yeah. All right, bro. Appreciate you. Call back anytime. You got another question?
No, we're good, man. Thank you.
All right, man. Thank you. Later. I'm going to turn off my fireplace for now. Where's my remote? Where's the remote? There it is. There we go. I have too many things on in here. My room's heating up because I've got all these TVs on and everything going. Not because of the heat, the fireplace TV wasn't getting hot because of the flame, but the TV's on. I had 2 TVs on. I've got computer on. I've got 3 monitors. It gets hot up in this facility. Trade. Let's see what this. Imagine McKinnon being better to own than K9. All right, that's it. ATV. See you later. I told you, like, it's nothing but negativity. Like, why? It's a drag on the chat. Like, all you're trying to do is just push buttons with people. You think we want someone like that hanging around? Trade Joe Mixon for Tua. Take a lap, says Django. That's a lesson for anybody else watching who wants to be a negative person in here and trying to drag people down in their comments, and you're not gonna stay. Like, why would we want that? Why would we? Don't care if we have differing opinions. You could be a respectful human being. Garrett Wilson in round 2, Olave in round 3. I hope that Olave is cheaper than round 3, but he might climb to that value. We'll have to play it by ear. I'm hoping he's not in round 3. He might fall out. He might be right at the end of round 3. I don't know. Garrett Wilson, I feel like he's not bad at the 2-3 turn. Like, that's about where I like him. I don't know if I like him at 14 or something, but who knows? I mean, push comes to shove in a mock draft, I might change my mind. Oscar says, I picked up Fields in the waivers after losing Lance and would have won my league if it wasn't for those cold games. Sorry about that, Oscar. Yeah, I mean, I told him, I warned him. You know, I tried to keep him. I was nice to him. I said, hey, want you to stay. Like, he just wasn't happy here. So I made it easy for him. And some people want to be negative in the world. You got to be positive. You got to be positive in the world. Vamp with a super chat. Hopping in to say what's good, Smitty. Have a good night, Graveyard Crew. Let's send Vampy to the moon.
To the moon.
Vampy's a dude. Vampy is a dude. He is him. Appreciate you, Vampster. All right, dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Do you think... Thank you, Vampy. Do you think Elijah Moore could get back to his late 2021 value if he gets traded this offseason? Either that or he gets traded or a new QB comes in. Vamp always positive. He is. I don't mind debate, but ATV was just wanted to cause a strife. Yeah, he was just in here trying to cause trouble. It's like arguing or like debating is fine. But when you're like warned, hey, be kind, stop being negative and trying to drag the chat down. It's like, boom, You're live on the Fantasy Football Show.
Hello?
Hello? Who's this?
This is Vamp.
What's Vamp? What's up, Vampy?
Hey, I wanted to talk to you about something.
All right.
Okay, so listen, I just saw like a recent fantasy post about the running backs who are like coming off a contract. It's like Saquon, Monty, Pollard, Miles Sanders. I wanted to know if there's anything like based on your experience, like is there anything to be said about running backs who are coming off a contract having like a big like breakout year, like because they're coming off a contract?
Usually it's the contract year that people, or players explode, and then sometimes when people get paid the money, then the injury hits or they hold back or, so I would say it's almost the opposite in a lot of ways, but running backs are different because running backs are trying to get that second contract. And it just so happens the shelf life is like right to that edge to where usually when a team gives an RB a second contract, that's the year they drop off. And it's kind of like, so running backs are a little different in that they're really trying to get that second contract. They're trying to play hard. Their shelf life is a lot shorter. But if you've noticed, any running back that gets paid bank on their second one, it's like the end of the road for them. They have like one more year left or whatever.
Right.
So I would say, But it's not a rule of thumb or anything, and I think everything's case by case. I don't think I would ever really try and use one thing to try and describe every other thing. You know what I mean? Like it's not one of those. Like Monty is different than Barkley. Barkley's different than every other scenario that you pointed out. We've got Aaron Jones potentially I think Aaron Jones maybe gets cut from the Green Bay Packers, which is going to make Aaron Rodgers mad and trigger Aaron Rodgers to threaten either to retire or send me packing. And here's the thing. The Green Bay Packers won't be too tough to nudge for Aaron Rodgers to trade him because retiring gets them nothing. And if they want to quietly move on anyway, and they kind of do, they kind of wanted to last year and they signed Aaron Rodgers anyway. They want to get something, and I think Aaron Rodgers gets traded. But word is coming out of Green Bay that they want to cut a lot of Aaron Rodgers' favorite players. Aaron Jones is I think they get back something around, not positive on the numbers, but something around 10 to 13 million if they cut him. And they seem to be in rebuild mode, and Aaron Rodgers keeps dropping the rebuild. I don't want to be a part of a rebuild commentary for a reason. He's very strategic.
Well, then Dylan, I mean, hey. Okay, so, hey, think about this. If Aaron Jones, like, his contract gets moved or something, where does that rank Dylan? Redraft.
To the moon.
To the moon. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how strongly I will feel. Like, I love A.J. Dillon, and I'm going to be pretty excited, but I think he's going to be so highly drafted. Everyone's going to want a piece of it, and I think there's some concern about him holding up long term, but I think we'll have to play that by ear. I would definitely be intrigued. He could definitely be Moonman capable. I love A.J. Dillon.
Yeah.
But what's that offense look like? Is it Jordan Love? Who else did they cut? Who else is on the roster?
Right.
Do we trust the offensive coordinator and everything going on there? I don't know.
Smitty, let me float an idea out there, okay? Think about this. Trey Lance gets traded to Tampa somehow because Brady leaves. Trey Lance or Rashad White. Talk about what that situation could be. You don't have to go on like super long because I know it's like a very hypothetical situation. But what do you think about that?
I like Trey Lance a lot in Tampa.
And also maybe if you could touch on like whether Trey Lance goes there or not. What do you think about Rashad White next year? Like on like overall.
Yeah, I love Rashad White, but we want a good offense. Godwin and Evans almost assure you they're going to get a Derek Carr at the very least. And if we learned anything about Derek Carr over the years, is his football value is different than his fantasy value. Well, actually, not really. It's the surrounding parts are okay. They survive. Like, he can deliver the ball to Adams. He did. Adams was great. He'll deliver the football to Godwin and
Adams
Evans.
is pretty good, Smitty.
Yeah, Adams is pretty well, but so is Evans, so is Godwin, and so is Rashad White. So if Derek Carr landed there, he wouldn't be a fantasy starter. I mean, Brady was barely a fantasy starter, but Evans and Godwin are still good players. I think Derek Carr would be good enough, not by himself, not in terms of using him in fantasy, but for the wide receivers, and that would make Rashad White valuable. If Rashad White has a Matt Ryan throwing the football, look what happened to JT. I will not be happy or excited about Rashad White's value if there's not a good signal caller there to throw the football to Godwin and Evans. But it's a good enough situation where I feel like in a worst case environment situation they're getting Derek Carr, and that would be good enough. That would be good enough.
Well, also like think about like so let's say Brady leaves, someone or two people have been elite like Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. Where does that leave them? Like, like if you're in redraft, like mostly, like where does that put those guys? Like two guys who have been like easily top 20 wide receivers.
With what? Who's the quarterback in the
3 seasons?
Who's the quarterback in the
no, like regardless, like let's say I don't know, like Derek Carr, like how are we gonna like view a Mike Evans or view a Mike or Chris Godwin like if
I
the
think
situation
similar
changes and Tom Brady's not there?
Similar because Tom Brady didn't. It wasn't like it, and I know people are saying, well, Evans and Godwin are good wide receivers. Why do you like them so much more in Miami when Tyreek Hill and Waddle, they're better than Evans and Godwin in my opinion by a significant amount. but there's still Evans
Yeah.
and Godwin are phenomenal. So a lot of people have asked me that question. It's a valid question. Why do you like Brady so much in Miami, but you don't love him in Tampa as much? Because Miami Mike's offense, Bowles was awful, and Tampa Bay didn't have the right system. Now, could they retool that in enough way that I think Brady could have a big year again and do well? Yeah. But, I mean, Brady in Miami would be much different. I think if Derek Carr landed in Tampa and they get someone in there that's competent, I think Derek Carr could do very similar, if not better, than Brady did this year. Brady would also do better than he did this year, though, if he got another shot at it and they bring in somebody else and they get to, mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But Brady didn't have, like, the biggest, year this year. He had, I'm pulling up his stats right here. He had in 2022, he had 46-94, which is nice, but he had 25 TDs, 9 interceptions. So, like, it was a good year. Yardage was, obviously great, 46-94, but 25 TDs. Mm-hmm. Derek Carr could do 25 TDs, 21 to 25 TDs. So it's not like Derek Carr's. Derek Carr's never had two wide receivers like that. He had Waller, who was injured all year, and he had Devontae
I think Derek Carr's going to be okay.
He'll be okay. He needs to land somewhere like this.
That's fine.
He needs to land somewhere like Tampa. Like that would help save.
What
Derek
if he
Carr's.
goes to Indy though, Smitty?
He's done.
Like what do you? Because you think he's done?
He's done. He goes to Indy. He's going to fail. He get benched by week 10. He goes to Indy. He gets benched or injured by week 10.
Let's talk about the newest Moon Man, the mystery QB in Miami. Like the way I'm thinking about it, it's like it's either you get your, and I mean this is just like a perfect scenario where they can get whoever they want. It's like you're either getting Lamar, who's your QB for the future, or you're like punching it in with Rodgers or Tom Brady, and like just hoping to get a Super Bowl in the next 2 years. Like, how do you think like that's going to play out? Because like I feel like it's two very different options. Like, if you're going A-Rod or Tom Brady, it's like, okay, Super Bowl or bust the next 2 years. But Lamar, like, you got more time. Like, what do you think about that? Because it's like two very different scenarios.
Well, I mean, I think Miami Mike would rather have Lamar if he could choose.
Yeah.
I think A-Rod or Brady would be just fine by him. I think he's a smart enough and aggressive enough guy and understanding his situation enough to say, hey, if I fail, you can be gone after 1 year failure. Look at the Eagles. They win a Super Bowl with what's his name, and then they lose the next year. He's fired. That could happen at any moment. And so McDaniels, Miami Mike is not going to take Tua into next year in 2023 and feel like I'm gonna be repeating exactly what I did the year prior, and now I'm on the verge of getting fired because I haven't delivered. So as much as he loves Tua, as much as Tua looked good at times, Tua got kind of figured out. I think Miami Mike probably knows that as well, and he's going to be aggressive. We've seen him; he's the most aggressive, I think, coach in the NFL in terms of acquisition and changing and mixing things up. And these three quarterbacks here, he's going to land one of them. And of course, Lamar gives him more firepower to design his offense, into I don't know. He would have so much fun with Lamar. The schemes he would draw up with Lamar would be unreal. But to have a field stretcher like Brady or Aaron Rodgers, and they definitely are comparative to Lamar.
Field stretcher, Brady?
Yeah, Brady could still throw a 50-yard dime. Like people said,
so? Yeah, I guess.
People said that about Brady like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and they're like, he can't throw the ball. When he first landed in Tampa, I heard the same thing. He can't throw anymore. His arm strength is down. There was so much footage of him throwing a 55-yard bomb downfield that it was like laughable that people said his arm was down. And A-Rod still got every bit of talent, in my opinion. I think A-Rod could be on the fence of like maybe 1 year, 1.5, 2 years, and then you start worrying about it. But Brady's on the tipping point because but he's still, I think he's still got it, and He's so
A-Rod
smart.
can still make all those throws.
Yeah, Brady may have less of a cannon, but it's still cannon enough. And when you think about it, how often is like Miami Mike has so many plays, crossing routes, short passes, Debo Samuel-esque designs that he could drop.
He's the wide back godfather.
He is. He designed Debo Samuel's role, or had at least a 50% role in it, and I think way more. I think he's the architect of it solely, but I can't prove that. I don't know 100%, but I've heard whispers that he is the Debo Samuel architect. And this guy, if you give him any one of these three quarterbacks, he's a top 6 team in the NFL. Top 16.
Here's the thing I think about Miami. It's like either they get one of those three guys or Trey Lance is on the table. Like Miami Mike is going to get somebody.
Yeah,
he's going to get he's going to get an elite quarterback.
Trey's the fourth.
And if you look at it, it's like the best destination for any quarterback. You got two of the best wide receivers in the league. Like you're living in Miami, like obviously like an amazing city. Like he's going to get somebody. I'm really curious to see like how it plays out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, hey, I got another like random question for you, and this might be like kind of out of left field, but who do you think like is going to be this year's Amari Cooper? How he like this guy who I remember like in the offseason we were saying like I'm not even going to touch Amari Cooper. Who do you think is going to be
like
that
you're talking about a bust
because
he didn't do good, so you're talking about a bust.
What's that?
You're talking about a bust.
No, because Amari Cooper had like good production.
Okay. You're talking about from a good. What do you end up finishing with? Let me pull it up.
Like he had like a lot of big games that like won a lot of fantasy games. Like, are there any like veterans that?
I mean, he did. Yeah,
like,
he did
totally
a lot.
surprise us.
He did a lot. I mean, he did about what. I mean, maybe I expected like 1,005 or 6.
Yeah.
Maybe about. And he had 1,109. So yeah, he did. He had a good year. He had a good year. I shouldn't say he didn't do well. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm just trying to like see if we can identify any of those like veterans who might do like, similar thing.
Ridley, Hopkins.
Ridley. I love Ridley.
Ridley, Hopkins, McLaurin, Ayuk, who had a good year, but I think people he'll be under the radar a little bit. Pittman potentially depends on who they bring in. Yeah, Cooper did better.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say negative things about Cooper's year. He did well considering, but I mean he definitely doesn't feel like a guy I want this year again though. Like what he did this year still didn't convince me.
100%.
I don't know.
I'm just trying to, and hey, it might be too early. I'm just trying to like identify some of these guys that might be like sneaky, like get you points that you wouldn't even kind of consider, but their offense makes sense until they do get production.
I mean,
but it might be too early.
I mean, DJ Moore later. Who like it just kind of depends on what happens there at quarterback because he's got the talent, but the situation's been garbage. And if it remains garbage, then he's going to be garbage. Zay Jones is good upside. Hopkins is one of the higher ranked ones though.
Yeah, D-Hop, man. Okay, so if he goes to Chicago, what does that make him?
I mean, not top 10.
Like
but,
first, but 3 rounds at least. It's the top 2.
I would say round 3 or 4, you're getting good value. But if you start drafting them in like round 2, that's too high. There's too many players like AJ Brown and Garrett Wilson and rookie running backs. It'd have to be Hopkins would have to be in late, probably 4 or 5 for me. But I think he'd fall there. I think he'd fall about 4. Maybe he'd go 3. But it depend. It'd depend on the feel of the third round if I'd even consider that. But it'd have to be a good value.
Well, that's all we'll be mock drafting. But hey, I'll let you get back to
all right, Vampy.
Back to it.
All right,
Love talking to you, Smitty. Have a good night.
All right, call in anytime. I got you in the system here, so dial in later.
Always. All right. Peace.
All right. Vampy in the building. Appreciate you, Vampster. Let's take one more phone call.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
All right, there's a question on here about Winston and Olave and a lot of Olave questions. So let's address Olave, and we'll use Casey's question to kind of kick off the conversation because I think I can cover every question that was Olave in this answer. Once Smitty figures out who's going to be New Orleans Saints quarterback, could Chris Olave be a Mars man? I mean, yeah, because he is a moon man.
The moon man.
So
dropping loads in outer space.
You know, he needs a nudge. He needs a nudge, broski. Let's say he gets
Space Monsters.
Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady or whatever. You know, I mean, probably not likely, but Winston is you know, it's scary long term for Olave because you don't know how long he's going to stay in there, and he always gets injured. But Olave was, I believe, number one in the entire National Football League by a long amount, by a big, wide margin in air yards in the entire National Football League with Winston in there. And it makes sense because Winston throws he throws a ton of INTs, but he throws from massive amounts of yards and just slings the rock. And so, you know, while Winston's not the best quarterback in the world, he's amazing for a wide receiver like Olave. Olave was, I think do I have that right? I think that's correct. I think he was number one in the entire National Football League by a lot in air yards, meaning the ball was in the air and he catches it, and all that yardage, the air yardage, he, you know, is calculated, meaning he's stretching the field more than anybody in the National Football League. And then Winston comes out and he doesn't do it anymore. But what's he do? He shows up in other areas, which is dynamic, and that's why he's a moon man. It's like he's got two games. You know, he's got the stretch the field game. That's what he did. He was a specialist. Led the league in air yards. Winston goes away. No more air yards. Does he vanish? Does Olave vanish into the abyss? No. Instead, he starts showing up on the sideline, catching short passes, developing his game there. This quarterback debacle in New Orleans, in this New Orleans season, this debacle in New Orleans in 2022 could have been a blessing in disguise for Olave's development. Why? Because he was able to work on every facet of his game. And now he's a finely well-oiled machine tuned to every degree of his game. He just completely honed in on his skills across the board. He didn't just get stretching the field, and I want to work on my short game, my sideline game. He worked on it all. And so you got a whole lot of potential for Olave to be more than a moon man. Sure, he could be a Mars man, no doubt about it. We just don't want Winston to go there and have no backup plan, and then guess what? Then Olave's got no good passes getting thrown his way if Winston gets knocked out of the game. Devontae Smith is nasty. Finished as the wide receiver 9 in 0.5 PPR. Nice. I did a video on Devontae Smith coming out saying he'd be a top 5 wide receiver, and it got, like, last year people were like, "You're a joke," in that post in the comments, and it didn't look good at the time. He's developed slow, but he's phenomenal. He's a phenomenal player. And if AJ Brown starts struggling with knee injuries or something next year, he's gonna be even more valuable next year. So I'm not down on AJ Brown. I don't predict injury necessarily for AJ Brown in 2023, but I think I'll be very high on Devontae Smith in anticipation that AJ Brown misses some time, because he feels like one of those wide receivers that's going to miss 3 or 4 games a season. It's just the way I feel about AJ Brown. You could call that a hunch. There is some data to back that up, though. I mean, he has been banged up. He has had a lot of knee issues. As you get older, as you put on the mileage, the knee issues that you have can kind of linger and come back, and clean up surgeries and all that. You start cutting away at meniscus and you start re-tearing it. Think of it like a piece of skin on your finger. Have you ever ripped off, I mean, it's a nasty habit. Nobody should do this, but if you ever ripped off a piece of your skin and you have to keep going because you keep tearing more and more, and you keep tearing and tearing and tearing, and eventually you tear it off, and it's like you rip it and you're like, oh my, why'd I do that? It's burning. It's similar to meniscus in a way in the knee. Where's my knee model? Where's my knee model when you need it? So here's my chair makes so much noise. I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's just kind of annoying. I love the chair though, by the way. But your knee, when you cut away at the meniscus, it's very, very bad. Whenever you cut away at your meniscus, it is very, very bad. Why? Because it's kind of like your brake pads and your alignment of your car. If you were to slice away a couple layers of one brake pad, your car would be ever so slightly tilted and start wearing down that side a little more, in your alignment's off. And so it as soon as you start cutting away at all at the meniscus, you start the knee has less stability, and you start inching your way toward arthritis and different things. Cutting away your meniscus, you never want to do it. You never want to do it. It's always going to lead to potential long-term knee issues. I'm not saying A.J. Brown's for sure going to have them right away. I'm not saying it's going to happen in 2023, so I want people to not get scared by me talking like this. But the fact that he's had cleanup issues, there's obviously stuff going on. And like my nail example, my skin example on your finger, if you were to like rip away a little piece of skin and you keep going and keep going and keep going. Similar thing with a tear in your meniscus. If there's a tear and you cut the tear, there's still a piece that kind of catches sometimes. And that's why guys go in and have cleanup surgeries on their knee, because they didn't cut it right, or they cut it and then there's a little bit of a, so let's say, where do you tear your meniscus? You tear it where the bone's touching the meniscus. You don't tear it right here out in the open. You tear it because your knee goes like this, and you cut and you pinch it, right? And you tear the meniscus where the bone is making contact. And when you cut it away, there's like a divot or a space that shouldn't be there. And now the bone is going to hit into that divot or that cut. And if there's a sliver that wasn't cut properly, or it was cut properly, but it just starts to tear more, the bone that now comes down and hits that meniscus might catch it and tear it more. Then you got to cut more of it and try and smooth it out. And so it's a tough thing to cut meniscus. It's a tough thing to have meniscus injuries. And that's why it's a dangerous game to go into the knee at all. You know, it just leads to arthritis. It leads to potential problems. Sometimes people have one knee cleanup or surgery and they never have issues again. It just kind of depends, case by case situation. My point being that A.J. Brown has a little knee injury risk, and Devontae Smith's value is very, very nice for the future. Hawkinson, top 5 tight end, for sure, bro. He's right in that mix, no doubt about it. Devontae's success at 6', 175 is a good sign for Addison and others lightweight wide receivers. Definitely, you got to go to the right spot though, for sure. And he developed a lot slower, but that could have been nothing to do with his size and more to do with just the way that Philly was operating before acquiring A.J. Brown, and the fact that they were doubting this guy Jalen Hurts. And what did your boy Smitty say? He's not someone you doubt. He's going to absolutely explode and show everybody that doubted him that they're wrong. What else? Where's a question somewhere? Hit that thumb up button on your way in the door. What are you saying, Hector? Repeat. You didn't. That sentence doesn't make sense. 36 thumbs up. Punch that. 70 of you in here. 70 to 100 of you in here popping in and out. Please punch that thumb up button for your boy Smitty. Okay. Taking one more phone call.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Smitty, you were going to touch on Kamara. Kamara is going to get suspended, in my opinion, at some point in 2023. Probably somewhere along the lines of a 5 to 7 game suspension. And the fact that he kind of tailed off anyway, and some of that had to do with the usage, but at the same time, you know, there's a reason for that, right? What was the reason? and what's going to happen to him? You know, what's New Orleans even going to do? How's it going to change? What's going to change? He's got some value if he's extremely doubted, but if he's costing you a second-round pick, he wasn't playing like a second-rounder. What makes anybody like him more in a year where he might miss 6 games? So, kind of a no-go for me, bro.
You've just been Smitty disapproved.
You haven't been Smitty disapproved, by the way, but Alvin Kamara has been Smitty disapproved, that's for sure. Let me see if I can flip this real quick, because I want to try and make sure. Let's see here. Hang tight 1 second. Let me try and flip this around, because this is bothering me. There we go. Okay, no more phone calls. I'm going to close the phone line then. Appreciate you. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow for a live stream. I might do something beforehand, before the games. I might just go live at halftime or just after the games. I'm not sure yet. But Jalen Hurts, is he QB1? Leave your vote, not in the live chat. I mean, you could do that too. But leave it in the comment of the video when there's, starting off with 0 comments. When the video is over, go to my YouTube page, reload the video. There'll be 0 comments. And please tell me what your rank is for Jalen Hurts. What rank is he for you? I'm staying away from AK-47, says Casey. I don't blame you. Somebody just bought a membership. Who was that? Who's this? Peter, attaboy Peter. Peter dropping a membership at thefantasyfootballshow.com. Get on over to thefantasyfootballshow.com. Get your lifetime membership, your 1 year at a time membership, whatever you want. Trade calculators, bold predictions, fantasy football rankings, year-round rankings, trade calculators, one-on-one text advice. Get it all at thefantasyfootballshow.com. Appreciate you, Peter. Casey, see you later. Sam, see you later. I'm calling you Ayuk. Appreciate you, Ayuk. Ayuk, you asked something earlier I was going to answer. Let me look it up. Algier. What did you ask? I was going to answer something that you asked. Oh, Jameson. I did get it. The Jameson Williams, Olave. What would I think of Olave? Okay, I got it. I knew there was something you asked. All right, I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks, John. Appreciate you, John. Peanut butter and waivers. Later, pal. Casey, Travis, Ayuk, Sam, the Django, KJ Osborne, solid option in 2023. I suppose. Depends on the value. It wouldn't be a starter for me, but like a borderline, like a bye week and injury type wide receiver that could develop. Should I trade AJ Brown for DK and a 2024 first? I probably would. I love AJ Brown, but I like DK a lot. And so, I don't know. That's really, really tough. What does everybody think on that? Thank you, Ayuk. Appreciate you. What does everybody think of that? Would you take AJ Brown or DK and a 2024 first? I mean, it depends on where the pick is. If it's the last pick in the draft or something like that, projected. Obviously, you don't know. I don't know. I like AJ Brown a little more, but then again, AJ Brown can be inconsistent, and like I said, I worry a little bit about injuries. So I kind of like the DK AJ Brown dynasty swap. Like even Steven, and then you get the first rounder. I like it. I'd probably take DK in the pick, and then I try and turn the pick into the 1.1 and get Bijan. Somehow DK in the pick for 1.1. Dial me up. All right, later, everybody. Appreciate you.
Kenneth Skywalker. Kenneth Lightsaber Swinging Skywalker.